Welcome to Mastering the Last Mile. This is Jim Royce. The high-volume package delivery business is consolidating rapidly around two players, Amazon and FedEx. Where's UPS in this? Well, they're buying out Teamster contracts, severing their delivery relationship with Amazon, and generally moving upmarket with their product and service offerings. They're repositioning themselves as a high-value courier service in the healthcare and B2B space. What about the post office? Well, from where I sit, they function as the industry's safety net and provider of last resort, not an enviable position. They're burdened by the universal service obligation and lack the capital agility of their private competitors. In the digital transition of the last 30 years, their main value proposition has been to deliver cheaply where others won't, like in high-rise apartment buildings, or where they can't, like in rural outposts. Their legacy infrastructure, technology, and employee base was built in and for a different time. It was built for stability, not dynamism. But even that foundation is cracking. Recent rumors suggest that Amazon is slashing $5 billion in annual business from the post office. $5 billion. That is the first yet undeniable move toward their ultimate demise. As Amazon internalizes the high-density routes that once subsidized the mail, the Postal Service is left with the highest risk, lowest margin scraps of its legacy network. Amazon launched their logistics division, AMZL, 12 years ago, and have spent that time doing the same thing they did in conquering online retailing and cloud computing. Investing, building, experimenting, iterating, and refining, again and again. The result is a self-sustaining package delivery behemoth with greater reach and density than anyone else. Their fulfillment network is now increasingly a revenue generator as well, as it builds its B2C business for retailers who use Shopify or TikTok Shop. FedEx, by contrast, is finally unifying its empire. They're collapsing their express and ground divisions into a single force, arming themselves with the density of one and the precision of the other. This is a tactical mobilization for their upcoming head-to-head collision with Amazon. This unification solidifies a new reality. Amazon and FedEx are now the only two meaningful players in the high-volume, last-mile space for the foreseeable future. While global analysts will continue to debate these macro dynamics, my interest lies where the tires actually meet the pavement. The real story isn't in the headlines. It's in the execution. And that execution is being handed over to a new class of industrialist, the professional delivery contractor. Unlike UPS and the post office, Amazon and FedEx deliveries are now nearly exclusively delivered by a constellation of hyper-fragmented contractors. Estimates vary between 5,000 and 8,000, depending on how you define the term. And since both Amazon and FedEx have committed billions to this last-mile fulfillment model, it's worth it to analyze these contractor opportunities on their own terms, where they overlap, how they meaningfully offer and differ, and what operational success will require going forward. Look, last-mile delivery contracting is a unique industry. On the one hand, it is like a franchise in that you make the standard bargain. You get the benefit and instant credibility of operating under an established brand with ready demand and a clear operational blueprint. In exchange, you bring startup capital, conform to their rules and regulations, and you agree to meet or exceed their defined operational KPIs. But on the other hand, unlike McDonald's, H&R Block, or Ace Hardware, last-mile contractors for FedEx and Amazon have zero responsibility to generate revenue. No sales, no marketing, one customer. And while many contractors may disagree that they have all the business they want from their customer, in my experience, water finds its own level. Outside of natural limits to size, things like investable capital or station density policies, last-mile contractors sink or swim on the basis of one thing and one thing only: how well they do their job. The way an MBA might put it, Last mile delivery is the world's largest experiment in pure process entrepreneurship. But for people of a certain operational bent, people with a process focus, this is catnip. It's massive scale and margin available to anyone who can master the efficiency and minimize the risk of a capital-heavy, distributed operation. But let's increase the stakes further. I further claim here that Amazon and FedEx pursue the contractor model primarily to limit their liability and bypass the risk and friction of unionization. But that insulation comes at a steep price, with a loss of direct control. The parent companies will dictate policy. They can pull every lever of oversight they can, but they cannot bridge the gap created by an outsourced management layer. There's always going to be play in the system. That gap is the contractor's black box. It's a space where an operation is either tightened into a precision profit machine or allowed to vibrate apart into chaos. The challenge here is massive because as a contractor, you aren't just managing the levers of profitability. You're responsible for creating, monitoring, and enforcing them as well. You are the architect and the mechanic at the same time. Both of these things have been true for some time now, but the consolidation and clear direction of these two players in the industry warrant a deeper analysis. As I've noted, each company's culture and history is different. As a result, so are their contractors' business models. In this upcoming series, I will break down these differences and analyze why they matter. First, from a business perspective, then from an operational one, and finally, through the lens of the ongoing industry changes. I hope to see you there for the remainder of this series. In the meantime, thank you for joining me on Mastering the Last Mile.